And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely Brood War OST as we returned. We have returned here with the grand finals, those grand finales here of the KungFu Cup 2025 November monthly finals. Day 5 days of KungFu Cup action, and we finally made it to our top 2 players. We had 8 to begin with. With 8 players step into the ring here, and 6 of them have fallen. We did bid adieu. We did say goodbye to players like Cure, Showtime, Gumiho, Mana, Solar, Classic. Many players have fallen, and now we're down to our top 2, down to herO and Reynor, which are, you know, some of the best players in the world. Reynor, he's what, top 2 Zerg player alongside Cyril. herO, he's arguably best Protoss, if not top 2 alongside Classic as well. So you don't get much better than herO and Reynor. And we're about to experience them in a best of 7. Let's go. Let us go. We're jumping on in. Game 1 is going to be on the Old Republic. Let's go. And again, this is going to be a quote-unquote rematch. I did mention previously that herO and Reynor, they did face off not too long ago in Little League Cup in a best of 7, where herO did win 4-1. herO did win it in a much more decided fashion, and we'll see if Reynor can get his revenge. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the Italian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Here we go. Now, when it came to that previous series, herO was so chaotic. He went for a different build every single game. herO went for Tempest Rush. He went for Glaive. He went into Twilight Council into Glaive Eps. He went into Stargate into Glaive Eps. He went into DTs with Shadow Stride. We saw a charge all in as well. Like herO, he was crazy chaotic in that series, and Reynor had a very hard time keeping up. But now we're past that. Now Reynor has more experience with herO, and we'll see if that chaos continues out of herO or if we do go for a more standard approach, especially on our new map pool. Loading on in, we're loading into the Old Republic. The Old Republic is a very large map of the map pool, and this map favors aggression in a sense. So the rush distance is quite long in this map, but what is more important is how difficult it is to turtle up and defend on 4 bases. This is a big reason as to why the meta has shifted so much. Talking a little bit about ZvP. If you know anything about ZvP, you'd know that I would say that ZvP has been pretty stale for the past couple of years. It's been a couple of years at this point, and ZvP, what do we expect? Typically, in the last patch, I should emphasize, Stargate opener into a 3rd base, into a Forge and Twilight Council +1 and Blink, into a Templar Archives, into Storm, into a defensive 3 base setup, into a 4th base, into Sky Toss. Like, that was ZvP for over a year. Like, it's and it's been pretty stale. Every now and then you see a player like mixing Glaive Eps and go for like an earlier Twilight Council, or we mix in an early Council into late Forge, into like Blink, into like an 8-gate Blink Stalker all in. You saw a little bit of variance, but not too much of it. But that meta and that kind of like more turtly defensive style into Sky Toss, I would say is much less viable now. It is much less viable to the point where I don't think I've seen it work and succeed yet, especially on some of these more open and aggressive maps. So for now we have the Stargate opener, but we have seen a lot of players mix things up and go for much earlier Blink timings, much earlier aggressive builds, delayed Storm. We've seen a lot of delayed Storm play. This is where Showtime actually gave Reynor a really hard time. I do highly recommend, if you missed it, Showtime versus Reynor in this tournament. In this very tournament, Showtime almost won. Like, Reynor, he barely won 3-2, and it was a really close series, really clutch. But Showtime, what was he going for? He was sticking with a ground composition for a very long time. Into very late Sky Toss instead. Showtime, he was going into Storm, yes, but he was going into Robo, into a mortar production, into delayed Storm, into a heavy gateway composition, into a heavy ground army instead. He was refusing to tech too quickly into Sky Toss, just because it's so difficult to get away with that nowadays. Meanwhile, Void Ray. Okay, you have my attention. Void Ray opener out of herO. Does open Void Ray, will be hunting down Overlords, denying Vision, denying Scouting, as Reynor expands towards herO. This is indicative here of an aggressive build, to spread creep faster, to all in faster as well. Meanwhile, are we hiding anything? Going for the Void Ray here is designed to hunt down Overlords, is designed to keep Reynor in the dark, to hide the tech. Now, this could just be a standard follow-up, or we could be hiding a Twilight Council, or a second Stargate, or a Fleet Beacon. We could be hiding something in the main. We'll see as herO will expand. And the Void Ray is hunting down the Overlords. Quickly, just touching on the reason as to why we have seen a shift in the meta, why it is less viable to rush into Skytoss. One, the maps. The maps are more open. The maps are more exposed. Think of Tourmaline, think of Ruby Rock, think of the Old Republic, think of Celestial Enclave even as well. It can be much, sorry, not Celestial Enclave, Title Citadel. There are a lot of maps here that are quite difficult to defend on 4 bases. There are some maps where it's easier. I'm thinking of Winter Madness, I'm thinking of Celestial Enclave, and I'm thinking of White Rabbit. But I would say those are the only 3 maps. Those are the only 3 like decently defendable maps. The others do favor aggression. And because of that, we've seen a much more dynamic kind of ZvP. Meanwhile, standard follow-up is going to be a Twilight Council and Forge. It looks like +1 and Blink. So far, it looks like a standard build out of herO. Another big factor, it isn't just the maps, but also the patch. What I mean by that is, in the patch, the Baneling was buffed with extra HP, and that means that the Banelings are much more viable against Storm-based builds. So even rushing into Storm defensively doesn't guarantee defense, not against Lingbane Hydra. So we've seen a rise of Lingbane Hydra all-ins, and a rise of Protoss players struggling to survive if they cut corners. As the Oracles, they dive in, 2 drones go down, the Queen goes down. Nice move out, nice pick up here. Ooh, but alas, the interception. Reynor, he shuts down one of the Oracles, and this was not worth it for herO. So far, not worth it. Meanwhile, the Adepts are moving out. I believe this has not been scouted by Reynor. He's not aware. Does come in with the Overlord, and he will confirm the follow-up, does confirm the standard build of Blink and +1. As herO does come into the shade. herO, he should come out on top here, but nice movement out of those things, out of Reynor. Does have some nice movement. Adepts, they cancel the shade, they deny mining, but no major economic damage. No major damage yet. It was early Eva Chamber to +1 melee. It is going to be Ling Hydra out of Reynor, and we'll keep an eye on whether or not he throws in a Baneling Nest. For now, he's droning, he's saturating, taking all of his gases. He's taking his gases. We're building up back at home. Getting his robo, no Temple Archives yet. And we'll see if herO can survive this. Throwing down his shield batteries. Reynor, he does have a 4th base. He does transfer, but for the time being, he's actually droning up a little bit further. Okay. Basically, we're waiting to see, is Reynor going to drone up further and saturate his 4th base and get in towards Hive Tech and Lurker Tech, or does he cut workers and does he commit with Lingbane Hydra, or just even Ling Hydra on Lair Tech? Yep, there it is, Baneling Nest. That's what we're waiting for. Waiting for the Baneling Nest. Reynor is going to commit. And it seems like Reynor is going for a Lair Tech all-in. Now, when I say Lair Tech all-in, yes, the drone count is relatively high, but we're refusing to tech up into Hive or Lurkers. So we're sticking with purely Lingbane Hydra. It is purely a Lair-based army, and this means that if Reynor does not kill herO, he's going to be outscaled, right? He's going to be outscaled and he will fall behind. So again, this is meant to kill or at least cripple. As Reynor's about to max. He's about to max out. You don't see it yet. Reynor, he does have a massive supply lead, but Reynor, he's done droning. He's done droning, he's making purely army, and he will max momentarily. So here he has to get the hell out of here. Stasis goes up. herO blinks away. Here he opted not to go for Storm. He's going for Colossus. He's going for Colossi, but they take longer to really come online. Reynor is pushing in. That's going to be a tough hold. Again, this low ground is so open. We spoke about it. The 4th base is so difficult to defend against these all-ins. As things they do attempt to peel off. Yep, there's a cancel, and herO cannot defend. Again, getting a 4th base on this map, on Old Republic, is insanely difficult. Here on the low ground, it's very open. It's on low ground. You have an entrance here on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side as well. Just very wide entrance, very wide arc. It also leads into the 3rd base. Here on the right-hand side, also very wide arc is available as well. Very open, and also split off from your own bases. Yeah, and here just can't expand. Here just cannot expand, cannot get his base. This is why we often see Protoss players go for all-ins on this map. As here come the Banelings. That's a lot of Banelings. Might be 29 Banelings rolling in. Oh, they look to crash in. Decent stasis traps. Very nice. Stasis traps pop off. Banelings, they still try to get into the mineral line. Getting a handful of workers. And so far, herO, he's defending well. But is it good enough? As herO pushes forward. Dives on the queens. Sorry, dives on the hydras. And Reynor, he should still have enough though. It's been a very impressive defense here with the Colossus. hero's been so efficient with it. Oh no! Yeah, Bailey's, they get into the middle line at 16, 21. 21 probes go down. And herO has been broken. He lost his fourth base and he's losing his third. Links are trickling in. Again, not the best trades here from Reynor towards the end. Not the most efficient fight, but he will kill the base. He will kill the expansion. Oof. Third base goes down. And Reynor from here, he can just back off. He can drone. Now he can take up. There it is. It's late, but it's on the way. Infestation pit. Getting his pit. Working towards hive tech. Getting into lurkers. And it was ambitious that herO tried to play standard and tried to build up into Colossus and tried to defend his fourth base. But as we mentioned, like, it is insanely difficult to protect this fourth. That applies to Protoss and to Terran. And with that, Reynor's just rallying. Just going to be rallying out. The closest count is quite high, true. Hive is on the way. With that, so Reynor can get into Viper tech. Vipers, I would say, are the one thing he needs. Sutter stepping in. Gets one of the Colossus. He gets one. Doesn't quite get the other. Again, the Colossus are trading as efficiently as possible. There's what? There's 40 kills on one of the Colossus. Doing what he can. No, no. Oof. Snaps another Colossi. Here, even forced to pull the boys. With that, herO trying to make his final stand. He's microing his heart out. No! Prism goes down. He cannot save the Colossus. Not anymore. Not like this. GG gets called, and Reynor will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Reynor, he does take a lead in the series, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. But again, as you mentioned, the Old Republic, it is insanely difficult to defend your fourth base on this map. All-ins are favored, and Reynor did go for a layer tech all-in. Towards the end, yes, he was getting an infestation pit, and he was getting inspired, but that was after he had killed the fourth and killed the third base. That's after he had already crippled herO. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into game number 2. I would have said that herO would have had a chance here if he had gone for something more aggressive or gone for a different kind of build. Playing standard and playing more defensive here on the Old Republic is less viable, and with that, GG. GG, well played. As we're loading into game number 2, loading into Winter Madness. Now, this is where we go from one extreme to the other. Old Republic, mate, you cannot defend a fourth base. Here, you can. I would say that this is maybe the most defensive map in the map pool, maybe alongside Celestial Enclave. We'll get into it. This morning, in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss, we have the red Protoss representing T1. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Italian Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Basilisk, leading the series 1-0. It is Reynor. Here we go. And welcome 1-0 to Winter Madness. As herO comes in with the pylon block, he will be looking to force the unnatural natural out of Reynor. Does force expansion at the third location. But again, coming into this map, we do have a secure natural, we have a secure third base. There isn't an entrance but a ramp coming in between the bases, so this is much more defendable here for whoever's defending, of course. So a much more defendable location. Likewise, a much more narrow entrance into the third base and a much more narrow entrance into the fourth base as well. I say narrow, these are like medium-sized entrances, but compared to the Old Republic, compared to Tourmaline, compared to Ruby Rock, compared to all these other maps, it's more defensive. So getting up to 4 bases is more viable here on Winter Madness, and this is where herO could get away with playing standard and getting into Skytoss. We've seen Protoss players be successful with that style here on this map. For now though, a big shout out in the chat. Thank you so much to Yomers in the chat. God, thank you so much for subscribing for 4 months. Thank you. Do appreciate the support. Do appreciate it. Figure throw down a ninja 4th base and keep massing army might be worth it. And then if you win the fight, you already have a 4th running. If you're referring to that... Oh wait, sorry. I think I missed part of the conversation. Is there any merit to throwing down a ninja corner base in the situation when Reynor started threatening the 4th base? I would say no, not in that situation. Not in the situation that you're constructing. You're envisioning a position where Reynor was already going for the all-in. If you get a ninja base, that just means you have less money to warp in defensively. That means you just die faster, because Reynor, he has no intention of just dying the 4th. As you saw, he killed the 4th, then he killed the 3rd. Like, he kept going, right? Like, Reynor was not going to stop. Like, like Reynor's, his goal there isn't just to kill the 4th and back off and macro, it's to kill the 4th and then kill you. So specifically in that kind of game, a ninja base would not really work out, just because Reynor was going for an all-in. In a different situation where the game is slowing down, it's a little bit slower paced, and the goal of your opponent is just to contain you, then that's when ninja bases can work. They do have a place, and sometimes you do see them in pro play. It is really risky, but it can be viable in certain situations if the opponent's goal is just contain. But if their goal is to kill, then it hurts you more than anything. So it's very situational based. I would say it's not applicable to the situation that we just saw. Thank you, Yomers. A different time of game used to randomly. Yeah. Like, again, in a different kind of game where your opponent's just like posturing and just denying your base, like, then sure, that can work. Just depends on the situation. So now here he does look to take his 3rd base against Stargate, open into 3rd. Nice because here with the Lings, getting one adept, getting a Ling, getting a probe. So nice damage so far. Lings, they attempt to rush in, and there's no warp gate, no shot. Very nicely timed here by Reynor. He dips in. Can he get a probe? He can. Gets one more probe as well. 2 probes go down. At the same time, the Oracle did get some damage across the map, but overall this should not have happened. So better pickoffs, better trade from Reynor. Goes in, gets 2 probes. Gets a full scout, gets the adept. Some more Lings are rallying across the map. Reynor, he wants to force a cancel. He shouldn't be able to, but again, he was able to successfully apply pressure, get some damage done, and punish herO. In the end, Reynor has a slight edge in the early game. Does have that slight edge. Meanwhile, Twilight Council should be into Forge. Yo, can he force a cancel? Oh no! The base getting low. The base getting very low. Can he get it? Barely not, but that's a very low expansion. Here he moves out. We have 20 Lings in production. That tells us that Reynor, he wants that base. He wants that 3rd. Until then, though, it ups straight into the main base. We have the Oracles to support. Queens, they do collapse in. And here, he's not quite getting into the mineral line. Yeah, Reynor, he pulls away in time. Does pull away. Nice positioning here from herO. He's going to trade as best he can. But I'm still scared about the 3rd. Because this is going to be cleaned up. And again, Reynor, he doesn't really lose any workers. He controls well. herO did not get a Forge. He's going into delayed Glaives. This is late. It was a late Twilight Council, late upgrade, late Glaive Adepts out of herO. You can see how low the Nexus is. And Reynor, he wants it. He wants the base. Ah, no. And no pylon, no shield battery. It's just been a very chaotic game. Very chaotic. Oof. Gets another Adept. Yeah, gets another. As Reynor nibbles away at the expansion. And hero's all in. herO, he's hyper committed here. He's going for a Forge. This tells us that herO, he's actually not all in, but I should say he's very committed. If these Adepts fail to get damage done, then herO will fall behind. He'll fall behind, he will stay behind. So he's banking so much, he's relying so much on these Adepts. The problem is that Reynor, he's playing Roaches. We're very quickly checking here. There's a Roach Warren at the natural. Did herO see it? He did see the Roach Warren. So essentially, if Reynor was cutting Roaches like last game, remember what happened last game? Reynor went Ling Hydra, right? He went Ling Hydra on the Old Republic. If he was going Ling Hydra here, then Adepts could do well, but he's not going Ling Hydra. He's going Ling Roach. Roaches are amassing. Roach speed is on the way. Roaches, they are tanky. They're built to tank. They're built to buffer against Adepts. There's a full wall at the natural. Like Reynor, he's ready for this. The Roaches are here, and Adepts, they cannot fight head on. He's gonna try and knock down the front door. Breaks in. Adepts, they break in, and he needs economic damage. Gets 2 drones so far. Shades into the main. Reynor late to react. Yeah, late to react, late to respond. Doesn't respond, actually. Oh my god, 7 drones go down. A nice damage here by herO. A nice start, but do you notice something? Reynor, as he loses all these workers, Reynor's not redroning. Reynor, he does not have any workers at his 4th base. He is undersaturated at his main. Why? All in. He's going for a Roach all in. So that's why he was building Roaches to begin with. He has no intention for the game to last any longer. He has 0 upgrades. He has Evo chambers, but 0 upgrades. He's going for the Roach all in. He's going for the German taxi, and Adepts, they will struggle to defend. We have a lot of Adepts here, and the hope is for the hope is for herO to buy time. The hope is that herO can keep Reynor at home while he builds up at home instead of going into Blink Stalker. He misses a shade. He sees nothing. Yeah, there's no drones. There's no drones here. Now herO knows. Now he's aware. The Oracles, they're doing what they can, but we get a full surround of the Adepts. No. Here he does shade away. Breaks into the natural. And he is buying time, but this is still expensive for herO. Because he's throwing away so much. He does pick off more drones. Oracles, they sign the 4th base. Honestly, the 4th base doesn't really matter. Oh my god. As Reynor's losing everything. Losing every single drone here. But again, this doesn't really matter too much because Reynor's all in anyway. And here we go. Reynor, he's rallying everything across. He will lose 18 workers. He's down to 41. herO, he's getting a 4th base. Oh, this is greedy. He's getting a 4th base. He's throwing down a wall of shield batteries, wall of cannons. He needs Immortals more than anything, but he has no Robo. There's no Robo here to defend. There's no Immortal production. He has to rely purely on Blink Stalkers. And here comes Reynor. Reynor's wobbling in. Runs into a wall of shield batteries, but there's barely any Stalkers. And Queens, they drop in as well. The Job Lords have arrived. herO being forced back. Biles, they will connect. Oof. And they connect with the Mineral Line. They connect with the army. And here he just doesn't have enough. Oh, nice stasis though. Okay. Nice stasis trap. Nice stasis. We're down to what? 8 Stalkers. Army's still rallying in. And this is becoming critical damage. Just waiting for the stasis to run out. Waiting for it to run out. And it does. And Reynor, he will overwhelm the army here. And again, it was just a really rough start for herO. Winding it back, what happened? herO, he moved out with the Adepts. He moved out with his Adepts. He moved out with his first Oracle. Because of that, he didn't have anything to defend back at home, and he lost a Probe. He lost the Adept. He lost more workers in the main base, and herO had a very shaky start to the beginning of the game. He also failed to get damage done. GG gets called, and Reynor will take a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. Whew, GG, well played. But Reynor, he had a much cleaner early game. He dealt a lot of damage early on, and herO went for a delayed Glaive Adept build. What do I mean by that? Typically, when you go into Glaives, as a Protoss player, you get your Twilight Council as the Nexus is thrown down. No, pretty early on. If you remember, because herO was so adamant about getting some counter damage, he was so fixated and focused on his Adept and Oracle Harass, and he did some okay damage. He killed some workers. He didn't kill any workers. He killed Lings. He traded with Lings more than anything. He might have killed just one drone, but because he was so fixated, his Twilight Council was late. So his Twilight Council was late, his Glaives were late, and that meant that everything else was delayed as well, referring to Blink, referring to +1, referring to any semblance of Immortal production or 4th base. So everything was just late. Everything was late that game for herO. It was a very, very messy build, a very messy game from him. And we saw that unfortunately, as herO was massing up Glaive Adepts, Reynor was going into Roaches. If Reynor was skipping Roaches and going Ling Hydra, this can work. But alas, Reynor, he was playing it safe, decided to go into Roach production, and before herO even hit with his Adepts, Reynor was already setting up for an all-in. But we pointed out Reynor, he refused to drone up his 4th base. Reynor, he was not droning, he was not saturating, he was already going for his own German taxi. It was a weakened German taxi because he lost so many drones, but he was going for the all-in regardless. And with that, GG. With that, GG well played, just outscaled herO, and now Reynor takes a 2-0 lead. And now we're getting into game number 3. Let's go. Let us go. So again, a very messy game out of herO is what I will say, which is a little bit uncharacteristic, but again, a very messy game out of the Protoss player. And we'll see if we can tighten up, as spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Italian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Here we go. Interesting game. I mean, again, it was herO. He had just a really messy early game, is what I will say. Just because his Twilight Council was late, his Glaives were late as well. Like, everything was late. So Reynor had a bit of an easier time defending, and Reynor was already, going for his own Roach all-in regardless, right? So already setting up for that. Which is meant to hard counter Glaive Adepts as well. But here we go. Now we're getting into game 3. Getting into game 3 here. Oh, my apologies. There we go. As we get in, Reynor is forced to expand at the unnatural natural over on the left-hand side, and Reynor, he does have a bit of an uncomfortable start, but overall, welcome to 10,000 feet. Okay, so 10,000 feet is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. It does have I believe it has the shortest rush distance among any other map. It is shorter than Ruby Rock, it is shorter than Tourmaline as well by a couple of seconds. So aggression can be favored. I will say, to counteract that, I will say the 4-base setup here is relatively safe, referring to the natural, the forward base, and the linear 3rd base as well. Yes, there are some entrances here. We have multiple entrances towards the left-hand side, and we have one larger ramp on the right-hand side as well. But in general, we have seen some Protoss and Terran players successfully turtle up on 4 bases and get into a longer game state here. So this is where herO, I feel like, could potentially play standard. He could opt to play standard here. At the same time, we'll see how Reynor reacts. Because it can be quite difficult to break a 4-basing player, this is where Muta play is more viable. So we could see Aspire, we could see Muta play. We have seen quite a bit of that here on 10,000 feet. Just because the ground aggression is more difficult. So we'll see. We shall see. For now, Stargate opener out of herO. Hamlin is going to be shut down. We'll lock in, Pappy. We'll lock in. As herO perks in, get some value here. Picks off some Lings. Pulls away. As 3 Lings going down. And herO can now look to expand. Speaking of, just waiting for the Oracle. Oracle is on the way. herO walls up. Now we can take a third base. And now, unlike last game, we don't really have a surge of Lings to deny this. We do have 5 Lings out on the map. But the Adept and the Oracle should be enough to allow herO to expand without too much issue. Overlord gets sniped. Adepts are in position. Oh. Yeah, Lings, they are denied. Basically, opposed to last game, these two Adepts were across the map. That's why herO had such a hard time expanding and had such a hard time in the early game. These Adepts were across the map and herO was punished. This time he's in position. So here he does get his base up and running. I believe Reynor did make it a wave of 10 Lings. 14, yeah, 14 Lings in total. Reynor can apply some pressure. Eyes are on Reynor. He's making more Lings. Uh-oh. We have 8 more Lings on the way. herO going for a standard follow-up here, going, oh my god, I say standard follow-up, he's banking oracles, okay. Because he's banking oracles, there's a high chance it's going to be +1 in charge. This is a common build that herO is fond of. I say common build, common specifically for herO. I don't think I've seen any other Protoss player embrace this. I think I saw Max do a variation not too long ago, but again, Mass Oracle most likely into charge. This is a hyper-aggressive build out of herO, not standard, and doesn't scale too well into a longer game. This has to build up towards the timing. Here we go. Oracles move out. We have 4 in total. He wants a queen. And he should get one. There we go. Queen goes down, going for the Spore. The Spore will get an Oracle though. Oof. Yeah, and here he doesn't get what he was looking for. He does get 4 drone kills, but ideally he wants to keep that Oracle alive. As he does go for a flyby. Nicely done. Gets 4 more drones, 8 in total. Not bad. And there's that charge follower. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but it is a little bit late. Here he was really hyper-fixated on his control, on his oracles. So +1 is a little bit late. Charge a little bit late as well. But the oracles race back home, and these Lings, they shouldn't find any counter damage. Meanwhile, there it is, Spire. There's a reason why we brought this up at the start of the game, if you remember. We spoke about the viability of Muta play here on 10,000 feet, and we spoke about the reasoning for that. It is because specifically on this map, it is easier to turtle up on 4 bases. The rush distance by ground is short, but the 4 base setup here is relatively secure. So it's hard to really be successful with like Roach pushes and Hydra pushes. So Reynor, he wants to avoid that by going into the Spire. Meanwhile, nice pick up, but once again, he will lose an Oracle. Does get all 3 queens. 3 queens go down. Lings, they poke in. They don't really find too much damage. Spire is almost complete, and I believe herO has yet to scout. Yeah, he has not confirmed. For all he knows, it could be Hydras amassing. Could be Hydras building up. Lings, they confirm the Zealots. Yeah, Reynor, he knows. He's in a good position. Now, because he sees all these charge lots, what does that mean? That means no blink, right? That's what this means, essentially. There is no blink. So without blink, mutas are even more effective. As the anti-air is very limited for herO. Very limited. So Reynor's build lines up very well against what herO is doing. herO's anti-air is going to be Archons, basically. Just Archons and Storm. Yeah, mutas are revealed. herO, he needs cannons back at home. Starts up the Phoenix. So at least herO, he knows ahead of time, right? He has a little bit of time to react. As cannons are on the way, Archons move in. And herO will defend. That's way too soon. It's very too soon as Reynor gets into the natural, goes further into the main base. herO, he actually goes for a massive counterattack. Okay. He's going for the counterattack. Oh no, he throws away another Oracle. Another Oracle is thrown away here against the Spore. Mutas, they bust into the bases. And we have Roaches behind this. Remember, Reynor, he did not go pure Muta. He made 10 Mutas to harass. He's been building up Roaches to defend against the counterattack. He knew that a counterattack was coming. herO will kill an expansion. There's a recall back home. 13 probes have already gone down. And Reynor is in a commanding position. Could do with more drones. If you wanted to macro. But for now, Reynor is massing out more lings, more roaches. I believe Reynor, he's expecting herO to counterattack again. So he's getting ready for it. Lings, they ensure that herO has no expansion. And again, these muses have been worth it. They have paid for themselves already. Paid for themselves. We have Overlord speed on the way. This tells us that Reynor's going for Drop Lords. He's going for a German taxi. He's going for a massive all-in. Yes, Reynor, he does have a 4th base, and he does have some saturation, but the plan here is to strike with roaches, Ling main, and Queen. And everything. Oh, I spoke too soon. That's Invitation bit. Okay. Anyway, here he comes to Reynor. And again, Reynor's been amassing his army. Going for another Ling counterattack. He will hit top right. Has plus 1 melee. He will trade well against these zealots. And he returns everything around. Turns everything back around. And we're macroing up from here. Reynor, he's taking. We have the Hive on the way. We have the Hydrogen on the way as well. Reynor, he is maxed out, but he's maxed out with a bit of a subpar army here. I mean, so does herO. Like, we're in a really awkward game state, and we'll see how Reynor makes use of this army. As herO is trying to turtle up. Nice snap on the Templar. Gets one. One Templar goes down. The Templar mothership is on the way. The longer this goes on, at least currently, I do prefer herO's position. I mean, it's still a really kind of like awkward game state, but essentially Reynor is maxed, but he's maxed out with a very heavy Roach Ravager army. It's a very inefficient army. He has to get rid of it. He has to peel off some roaches and build up more Hydras. Trades well against the Zealots though. Zealots go down. We do see the Muse being thrown away. And here he's commencing carrier production. Taken to the skies. Here he's switching into Skytos. Here he's established his 4th base. Now he's getting his 5th up and running as well. There's a lot of pressure on Reynor. Here is stabilizing. Again, the Muse does a lot of economic damage, but Reynor, he has to try to find some more. Does poke in, Storm connects. Brutal Storm, and more storms coming in. Mothership has arrived, going for Cloak. Snipes the Overseer, no detection. Oh no! Yeah, no detection, and with that, the Roach Ravager is going to be completely shut down. herO holds. Here he holds on. Again, a clutch Mothership timing. Going for the center base. And Reynor, he did trade out a lot of units here. He's trying to build up Hydras back at home. He is working towards Lurker upgrades as we speak. But as Reynor, he's getting into Hydra Lurker. herO, he's already got Skytoss. Like, that's the scary thing. Right now, herO has momentum. herO has a tech lead. So once again, Bloodlust is going to go down. Nice catch on these Zealots. Carriers are revealed. Reynor catching some, transferring High Templar as well. Yeah, Templar go down, recall into the main. Oh my god! Yeah, he goes to the main base. Reynor completely out of position. Ay, ay, ay. There's the force field. Drones are locked in. And the hive is gonna fall. Reynor, he works so hard for that hive. It's gonna go down. The spawning pool, the hive, the pits, the spire as well. And Reynor, he's going for the counterattack. He's going for the base trade. As Reynor, he rallies everything across the map. Takes out a center base. Remember, here he can always recall. Yep, there it is. Recalls back home. And here it should be fine. It should be fine here. He's keeping up with the army. More sky tosses coming in. Lifts up the lurkers. And herO, he has been outscaled. GG gets called, and herO, he will put a point on the board. We have a series, we have a back and forth. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Honestly, Reynor had a really nice start. Remember, when he went into mutas, he killed, what was it, 18 probes? 15 to 18 workers. He got a lot of economic damage done with his mutas, and he was ready for the counterattack with his with his Lingbane Roach Ravager, if you remember, but he was stuck on Roach Ravager. We did bring it up at the time. We did criticize how Reynor, he had maxed out with a Lingbane Roach Ravager army. He was working towards Hydras, but he was still stuck with that subpar army, and he had to trade. He had to be active, he had to be aggressive. I would say the best move there would have been to try to kill the 4th base, but he was unable to. The 4th base got up and running. Reynor, he was stuck with a subpar army, and by the time he finally started making Hydra Lurker, we already had carriers on the way. We already had Skytos. herO did outscale Reynor. GG. GG, well played. Impressive defense, impressive comeback there out of herO. GG. GG, well played, and now we're loading into Taito Citadel. Based on how Reynor was playing, it looks like Reynor was expecting herO to all in. It looks like he was expecting herO, after taking all that damage, he was waiting for herO to just double down, to commit, and to be forced into an all-in. An all-in that never came, because herO just expanded. He just took his 4th base, and then a 5th, right? So, bit of a misread there out of Reynor. Gambled a little bit. Here we go. We're getting into game 4 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Taito Citadel. We have the South Green Protoss player. We have the red Protoss for T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the we're 12. Oh no, has the mental been broken, Pappy? We have the blue Zerg player. We have the Italian Zerg going for the 12 pool. It is Reynor. Oh boy. Okay. So we are going to be building up. We'll see if Reynor pulls the boys. The Overlord is scouting, is checking for the drone. Sorry, for the probe. He's looking for the worker. And if herO doesn't probe scout, then Reynor may just commit. Okay. Eyes are on Reynor. Link production has begun. Okay, he's committing. If we didn't send out the drone, then we're thinking it's going to be more nefarious and more committed, but no, it looks like Reynor, he will expand. This is going to be a macro opener out of Reynor. Okay, so what is the goal here? The goal is to punish herO for not probe scouting. There is 0 probe scouts, so herO, he sees nothing. So greedy here. It is standard to probe scout, and herO, he sees nothing, he knows nothing, and the Lings are coming. Because of this, herO has no Zealot. If he were to scout this, he would wall off here with his probe, he would delay his expansion, a Zell would be on the way, and then he'd be able to defend. But as it stands, herO sees nothing, he doesn't know how much danger he's in, and this pylon may just go down. If the pylon dies, that's game. So here we go. Lings are rallying in. Yeah, Reynor collapsing on that pylon. Will be brought down. herO has to pull the boys if he wants to save it. There we go. The boys are being pulled, but it's too late. It's too little too late. The pylon will die. herO supply blocked. And there's nothing. there's nothing here. There's only probes. Only probes back. Now, Reynor, he does respect them. Does want to make sure it doesn't get surrounded. Once again, going for the Cyber Core. Collapsing with the workers. Nice probe drilling here from herO. Very nice. And with that, herO will defend. Whew. So here he does defend. He surrounds Reynor. That was miscontrol out of Reynor. Reynor, he should not have fought head on. He had to avoid the probes. Probes are terrifying. And the game will continue. Whew, okay. The game will continue here. Again, Reynor had potential to keep this going, but got surrounded. And from here we drone and we saturate. Now, herO is still in a really rough position because no base. No base, no expansion. Like, it was still a really shaky start for herO, and Reynor is still in a better position. But herO has a chance. herO, he does have a chance. I mean, it's still rough. Like, right now the soup lies. The soup does lie. You might be looking at this and be thinking, oh, Reynor, he's only up one drone. That is not really true, because herO is making one probe at a time, and herO doesn't have a natural. So Reynor has more efficient mining, and of course he has better production to be able to skyrocket ahead and drone up even harder. You can see Reynor is checking for the gold. Smart. Does check for the gold base. Wants to make sure there's no ninja expansion out of herO. Ooh, that gets surrounded. Is surrounded. And there's a lot riding on these oracles. I don't know if I'd say uncharacteristic, to be honest. herO runs very messy games, but just makes them work. If you're referring to the game where herO went for on Winter Madness, I would disagree. herO does have chaotic games, but his builds typically always make sense, as his builds are typically very crisp. The game where he went Glaive Adepts was uncharacteristically late. Referring to his Twilight counts or referring to Glaives. Here he does dive into the main. He dives in, catching a queen. Nice pickoff. Does get a queen. Will take a lot of hits, but should get away. Oh, and we're going double Stargate. I mean, in this kind of game state, herO has to do something drastic. He has to do something crazy just because he's behind. So herO is going for the second Stargate, and we're going into Mass Oracle, we're going to Phoenixes, Void Rays. What's the plan? No Fleet Beacon. Oh, did lose one? Okay, thankfully did not. So for the time being, he's making more Oracles. Ooh, got to be zoned away. Once again, taking a little hull damage. And now we're making more. Technically, there is a lot of potential with Mass Oracle. Yep, we're just going Mass Oracle. So Mass Oracle here at a herO. He needs to bank them up. He needs to hide them. He reveals 3, which is normal. Oh, here a supply block. No, yeah, brutal supply block. Ay, ay, ay. And this is where I would say messy. Like, again, herO, he's usually a little bit cleaner with this, but it is a really chaotic game state. So brutal supply block delays his oracles. Like, we need the oracles as quickly as possible. And I was gonna say, if he's lacking anti-air, then the goal should be to overwhelm the queens and then just wreak havoc in the mineral lines. Unfortunately, Hydra Den. Like, Reynor is going into Hydras, and now herO's on a timer. Now herO's on a timer. If he's too late, if there are too many Hydras, then herO will just die. So here we go. We got 6. Soon to be 8. He gets spotted. Oh, never mind. Reynor, I believe he is not aware. Otherwise, we'd be seeing more spores. It's important. It's crucial that herO has control of the Zelnaga tower. And now he dives in. Goes to the dive. He wants the queens. Pulsar Beam is activated. Going into the main base. Hydra production has begun. Gets 1 queen. Gets 1. Takes down the spore. We'll lose an oracle. Down to 5. 5 oracles left. And Hydras will pop out. Yeah, snipes 2 more oracles. Down to 3. Oh no. Yeah, 3 oracles remaining. Down to 2. And Reynor holds. Reynor, he holds on. Again, it is unfortunate that Reynor was going into Hydras as he was. Here, I'm sure he was hoping there was going to be roaches again. Or a later den. Behind this herO going into Tempest production, he gets scattered by the Overseer. Reynor, he sees, man. He knows. And I think herO should just die here. I don't think herO can survive this. I'll be honest. The Hydras are coming. What is it to defend? There are 4 Oracles. 4 Oracles and 9 Vanilla Adepts. Most of them are across the map. Reynor starts stepping in. Does get a kill. Yeah, kill, not a cancel. Hydras, they chase down the Oracles. Gets 2. And the Adepts will clean this up. Oh, gets another Oracle. There's 1 Oracle left. And on the one hand, yes, herO, he does clean this up, but he lost his 4th. Remember, that was a kill. That was a kill, not a cancel on the 4th base. Really rough loss there for herO. And again, it was just a big gamble, right? It was just a big gamble out of herO going Mass Oracle, and it just did not pay off. Didn't pay off, Bappy. Now, Tempest, they have a little value, of course. They can be very efficient. You can just pick away at the army. And Epstead making their way into the mineral line. Does it commit? Oh, not quite. Doesn't commit in. Corruptor production has begun. Reynor, who was so quick to throw down that Spire. To get ready for the Sky Toss. And he is. And here they come. Corruptors have arrived. Adepts take him into the shade. herO, he's just all in. He just has to go for it. But last, plenty of Hydras are reinforcing. And went out to 4, down to 3. GG gets called, and Reynor, he will extend his lead in the series 3-1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, a really rough start for herO, winding it back. And the reason why it was so chaotic and so rough was because of the initial 12 pool. The 12 pool did wreak havoc, did do damage, didn't do game-ending damage, but did give Reynor a very comfortable lead. That's why herO felt pressured to do something crazy. He felt pressured because he was behind to do something unorthodox. So he was going into double Stargate Mass Oracle. He went up to 8. He went up to 8 Oracles. He pushed with 6. And was reinforcing with another 2, but unfortunately he had a really hard time finding damage. If you remember, he dove into the natural first, he activated the beam, didn't find anything, got into the main base, got a queen, got a spore, got a couple of drones, but alas, there was already a Hydroden. And remember, Reynor didn't even scout. Like, he didn't know what was coming his way. That's why there were no extra spores. That's why he was so initially ill-prepared, but he had the Hydroden. Once Hydras popped, GG. GG, well played. With that, we're now getting into our next game. Going to be loading into Tourmaline for game number 5. And the pressure is on herO. Again, it's been a very chaotic series so far. Very chaotic. And I feel like the chaos will continue here. 100%. As we're loading into one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool, spawning in the bottom hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the Red Protoss. Oh, Red Protoss himself. Down heavily in the series, 1 more loss, and that will be the end of the finals. Can he bring us back? Can he start the comeback here and now? He needs to. It is for T1, herO. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player, the Italian Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. He actually probe scouts. It makes sense. If you remember, one of the reasons why the 12 pool did so much damage last game, if you remember, herO didn't probe scout. For whatever reason, he chose not to probe scout on Tidal Citadel. He was punished for it. Here, he probe scouts immediately. And he will confirm this a base. It does get eyes on the expansion. He's aware of the standard opener. As herO pokes in. Just being as annoying as possible. Trying to force some inefficient mining. And Reynor just going hatchet gas pool. Again, standard build, he's forced to be in a bit of an awkward position, but welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline is one of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. We bring this up all the time, but there is a massive entrance coming into the natural, and likewise a massive entrance into the third as well. Because of this, 3 base all-ins are very popular from the side of Zerg. We see a lot of 3 base all-ins, 3.5 base all-ins, going into Lingbane Hydra, going to German taxis. Aggression is favored here, and it is difficult for Protoss players to defend. You saw in Game 1 on the Old Republic how difficult it is for a Protoss player to hold on to their 4th base. Here, it is difficult to take a 3rd. Very, very difficult to take a 3rd. To maintain the 3rd, I should say. Now, what I will say, this is where Showtime really did inspire. If you watch Showtime versus Reynor, again, Showtime almost beat Reynor, but Showtime was going for a very different style. He was going for a very defensive style. Showtime was going for a heavier gateway count, immortal production as well. Showtime was being very safe, very defensive, and Showtime was successfully holding on to this 3rd as well. Like, he had a really, really impressive series against Reynor, and I would hope that herO was watching, and I would hope that herO was inspired. Now, the flip side of things we could see out of herO is aggression. We could see him be the aggressor instead. Or at least try to be. It is an option. For now, opening up Stargate. I feel like we have seen herO go like DTs on this map before. And try to be cheeky. Glaive Adepts would be an option. Show us what you got. Three dips in. Does shade away. No major damage. And behind this so far is getting his 3rd base. What we're really waiting for is the Twilight Council timing. We want to see the timing of the Twilight Council. We want to see what herO goes for. I feel like early Blink has to be the play here. Oh! As things didn't quite get this around. They do. They do get this around. Oh! Adept does pull away. More Lings have arrived, and this Adept should go down. So nice pick up here by Reynor. Takes down the Adept, takes down the Probe. Nice little pickoffs. Again, making use of his Lings early on. There it is. Twilight Council is going to be thrown down. This is as the 3rd base is just over halfway done. Curious. And we're waiting for the Forge. Ooh. As Oracles take a lot of hits. Late Forge out of herO. So this could be either early Blink or we could go into Glaives. We're still waiting for the Forge. If it's late Forge, it should be Blink. Gateways are being turned down. These gateways, they feel a little bit late though. Yeah, they are. herO heals banking. What's it gonna be? Blink. Okay, so early Blink. This is meant to be a very safe build here by herO, going for early Blink. I mean, I say safe. There's no Forge, right? There's no Forge, so this looks like the beginning of an 8 gate, of a 3 base all-in. Again, the build itself does feel a little bit shaky, unfortunately. Like when it comes to the gateways, when it comes to the Blink timing. Yep, more gates are on the way, so I believe this is 6 in total, and we should be seeing one more. Getting up to 7 gateways and then a proxy across the map. Basically, the way this build works is that you drone up, you saturate, but you do not take your gases, so no gases at the 3rd base, extra gateways back at home, no Forge. Oh, late Forge. Okay. Late Forge out of herO. Does he send out a Probe? Interesting. So, this Forge is insanely late out of herO. This tells us that herO is not going for an all-in, that he plans on macroing from here. It's still very aggressive. He still has a lot of gateways. But Blink is not done, and herO is going to get punished. Okay, nice move. Nice moves. Oracle does save the oracles do save the Sulkers. herO does survive, hunting down more overlords. And he's taking gases. Again, he's taking gases because he is getting a forge. This tells us that most likely we can take up into either Colossus or Storm. So herO can now take up. As he's saturating on 3 bases. Getting into charge. And the answer is no Colossus, Storm. So he's going into Temple Archives, into Storm and Archons. Stalkers poke in. We can see Reynor going for a surround. Setting up for the surround. There's going to be one more stasis trap. The base does fall. And Reynor, he counterattacks instead. Nice stasis. Nice stasis trap, but the wall is wide open. herO! Yeah, the wall is open. Does force a recall. But herO did at least kill the base. So not bad. herO, he killed the expansion. Killed the 4th. Reynor, he's building up, getting into Ling Hydra. Nice round on the Lings. And herO's not in a bad position. He's on 3 bases. He denied the 4th base of Reynor. He's taking up. herO's going for a later 4th base, which again, I feel like makes sense on this map. It's difficult to defend your 3rd and 4th. So herO's playing it safe, even throwing down a wall of cannons. Again, you can just see how defensive he's being. You wouldn't really see this on other maps, but just because of the nature of Tourmaline, makes sense. Oh. As herO's being active with his Gateway army. Storm is finishing up in a couple of seconds. Let's go. herO's got +1. He's throwing down extra gateways. In a head-on fight, I do favor herO's army at the moment. Reynor, he's taking up maybe a little bit too quickly. Reynor's running up to 82. herO's pushing in. He's got Storm, plenty of Storms, and they're going to connect. Yeah, massive Storm of the Hydras. Army's going to be forced back, 0 Storms remaining, but there's no buffer. Yeah, there's no buffer, there's no support. Again, Reynor, he was too greedy. Reynor, he was droning up too much. He was taking up into the infestation pits. The army was lacking, and he was going for the kill. He's going for the kill. And fun fact, after he breaks the 3rd, now herO throws down the 4th. So very late 4th base out of herO. He's doing well for himself. I say that here come the reinforcements. Reynor, he's holding on. He's holding on. He did lose the expansion, lost 10 drones. Here comes a lurker den. Reynor needs time. He needs a little bit more time for lurkers. But he's still up against the wall. It's still close back. Ooh, and here he's going to be taking into Sky Toss. Okay. So herO building up into Sky Toss. Still posturing outside of the 4th base. He does have a couple of High Templar coming in. He's got some Storms. Storms, they Jubilee back the army. And again, there's what 1 Storm left. And so the Storms are zoning. They're just zoning Reynor further back, and here he's breaking through. Once again, it's into the middle line. Yeah, the Archon gets in. More drones are going down. It's still so close with Zealot reinforcements. Here he should break the expansion. And he does. Yeah, the boys are being pulled into the Archons. GG gets called. And before Sky Toss, herO, he does fight back. He does put a point on the board. GG. Whew. GG, well played. And this is very similar to what Showtime was doing. Basically, very heavy 3-base play. herO went for a very late 4th base. Very late 4th base. He stayed on 3 bases, got cannons, shield batteries, built up his gateway composition, built up his Storm. I went for a later Sky Toss, later transition. Very safe. And I mean, I say very safe, very assertive as well. Killing the 4th base initially, slowing down Reynor. GG. GG, well played. I feel like this is the kind of style that you need to play on these smaller maps. I'm thinking of Tourmaline. I'm thinking of Ruby Rock as well. Speaking of, we're going to be loading into our next game. We're going to be loading into Ruby Rock. I would say that this map is not as extreme as Tourmaline, but it's very similar, where it has a very difficult and a very open 3rd and 4th. So I like the idea of seeing something very similar out of herO coming into this game as well. Let's go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we do have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1 down in the series, but he has begun the comeback. Can he force the ace match? It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Italian Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. And a couple of things happened that last game. One, Reynor didn't 3-base all in. He did not. He was the opposite. He was being greedy. He was being very greedy. As we pointed out, Reynor, he was joining up past 80. He was taking up into the infestation pit. He was late to get a 4th base, but he was just trying to catch up and trying to tech up and trying to drone. And he was caught by herO with a very strong 3-base timing instead. So Reynor caught with his pants down instead of the other way around. So a little bit surprising to see that kind of turn of events on Tourmaline, seeing Reynor be more passive instead. And we'll see if he ramps up that aggression. Speaking on Ruby Rock, we mentioned how it's similar to Tourmaline, very open entrance. Open entrance into the 3rd base. There's no ramp. There is technically some high ground here, but the all-in or the army should be coming from the left-hand side instead. Likewise, a very open northern 3rd base as well. The linear 3rd also is open. And traditionally, we do see a lot of Zerg players go for all-ins, but hey, if Reynor didn't 3-base all-in on Tourmaline, he might not 3-base all-in here either. We'll see. Meanwhile, again, because the 3rd and 4th bases are so much more vulnerable, I do want to see herO once again be very tech heavy and be very 3-base heavy as well, just like last game. I think that is beneficial here on these more aggressive maps. But we'll see. If you're curious, as a reminder, herO, he went up to 6 gateways. He went into 6 gateways on 3 bases. He went for a late forge, late +1. As a result, he was able to kill the 4th. If you remember, he was able to force a cancel on the 4th base. Then went for a later 3-base timing with Storm, much later. But now Stargate. Stargate open out of herO. And eyes are on our Protoss. Reynor just droning, just saturating. Likewise, we'll see if Reynor goes for an Eva Chamber first, Lair first, or Roach Warren. Just waiting for the tech from both sides. Setting up. No, we're still setting up. Oh. Depsay throwing the shade in towards the main. And herO will claim his 3rd. And thankfully herO doesn't commit. He cancels the shade, he's just poking, prodding. If he loses these adepts, then his 3rd base is going to be exposed. But he is keeping Reynor busy. Keeping him pinned. Same time, a handful of Lings do slip out across the map, and there's not much of him to defend. Does get a probe. Does get a probe, but we'll get a pylon. The Oracle does react. Ooh, there's a cancel. But we'll save the base. The Nexus is taking a lot of... There we go. Does take a lot of damage. But herO will save it. Behind us we have our Twilight Council. Lings do get this around. Nice pickoff. herO did stick around a little bit too long. And it is going to be Evo Chamber first out of Reynor. So Evo Chamber into +1. The Oracle barely gets away. Stasis goes off, and you said I see no Forge. No Forge. Twilight Council into 2 gateways. This looks like the same build. Same build, looks like early Blink. Into a 6-gate setup. As you can say, rally across. Thankfully, there is an Oracle to defend. Despite that, we're going to surround. And no, this is not going to be Blink. We are going into Glaive Adepts instead. Okay. Now, this is very similar to, God, what was it? Game 2? I believe on Winter Madness. But this is going to be much later. So delayed Glaive Adepts. This is quite committed actually here from herO. I like that he's mixing it up. I do believe that he wants to make it look like it's the same build. He wants to make it look like he's going for a Blink timing. What does that mean? That means no roaches. Yeah, no roaches. It is going to be Ling Bane into Hydra play out of Reynor. But Reynor is at least playing it safe, getting the Bailey Nest. Roaches are a secure way to defend against Adepts. Bailings are another option. And the Oracles do scout. It does scout the Bailey Nest. But there is no opportunity for these Adepts to pop off. As the Oracles do slip away. Adepts, they should be banking up. Yep, there we go. Banking up in the main. Banking up here behind the mineral line, which means they are not revealed. Barely not. And here comes herO. Yeah, here he's rallying across the map. He's moving out with what's soon to be 17. Yeah, 17. 17 Adepts are moving out across the map. The 3 Oracles as well. And we need as many Banelings as possible. We have 4 Banelings morphing in. Now, if these Banelings can connect, then maybe we can defend. But without the Banelings, herO should overwhelm. Oh no, he commits! No, he commits into the Banelings! And Reynor holds. Yeah, Reynor holds, he shuts us down. Here he shaded into the Banelings. Ay, ay, ay. And that's the moment that Reynor was hoping for. Speaking of Banelings, they just crash in, they shut down the Adepts, and Reynor, he shuts us down. Clean defense out of Reynor. As you mentioned before, Reynor was heavily reliant on the Banelings connecting, and herO went headfirst. He went headfirst into the Banelings. Ah, no. And herO falls behind. He falls behind. +1 is late. Blink is late. So the tech is delayed. We're stuck with a subpar army. And Reynor's just chilling. Reynor, he's droning up, getting into Ling Bane Hydra. Oh boy. And remember, there's no Blink. Remember, there is no Blink. The Stalkers, they can't get away. Gets 1, gets 2. Lings, they can just keep trading. Gets 2 Stalkers, getting up to 3. 3 Stalkers go down. Oh. Lings going for the 4th. There we go. 4th Stalker does full as well. More Lings are rallying. Hydras are on the way. Reynor, he's cutting workers. He's droning up to 68. That is 3-base saturation. Nothing at the 4th base. And he's going for the all-in. He's going for a big 3-base all-in. Cashing out more Adepts. Blink is still not complete, by the way. Again, it was a big gamble out of here. Big gamble going for the Adepts. And there was an opportunity. There was a chance, but... He face checked with the Adepts into Banelings. Checked with the face. No. And this is going to be a tough hold. Now, defensively, I believe there is an Archon. Yeah, there's 1 Archon. Blink is now done. But the Hydras are coming. They're slowly slithering across the map. Hydra speed is almost complete. Again, Reynor, he has not made a drone in quite some time. The worker saturation here is just from transfers. Just transferring over. As he runs out of patches in the main. Ooh, Oracle is thrown away. Charge only just now began, so we got slow lots to defend. And where are the Banelings? Oh, we're just collapsing. Okay, never mind. We're just collapsing in. Yeah, we're collapsing on top of the Stalkers. Nice movement with the Lings. Comes in for the surround. Some of the Hydras aren't quite adding the DPS, but there we go. Does step in. Does try to. There we go. Star steps forward. Takes down one of the Archons. There's 2 Archons left. Here comes the Force Fields. Ooh. Yeah, nice Force Field. Slowing down the push. Slowing down the all-in. But last, another Archon falls down to 1. 1 Archon remaining. So we just see herO holding the line. He's holding on. Trying to. Yeah, as again here, he's just taking too many losses here. Probes are going down. The final Archon is going to get sniped. Down to purely Blink Stalkers. Charge just now finishing. And these Lings, they just trade so well against the Stalkers. They trade so efficiently. As we're down to how many? Down to 7 Stalkers. 7 Stalkers left. Down to 5. And Reynor just rallying. He's just rallying across. Looking to end it. Immortal rallies into the Hydras. I mean, impressive defense here by herO, just surviving as long as he has. He's holding on. Now, what's important here is that herO has a 4th base. It's not up and running, but if herO can force Reynor to just back off and give him some breathing room, then herO could try to stabilize with that 4th. But the problem is that that Reynor has not drawn in like 3-4 minutes. Like Reynor, he's not backing off. Reynor, he doubles down, making 15 banelings. I believe a sentry has warped in. Force fields are ready. Reynor, he does bypass the narrow ramp. Headed for the 3rd. And yeah, banelings they get in. They do get in. They shut down the Zealots. They get into the mineral line. Probes are going down. Jesus. Crazy connections. And Reynor, he will take it. He will get his revenge. And initially, herO did take Reynor down in Little League Cup, but here in the KungFu Cup monthly finals, Reynor, he does overwhelm. It was a very chaotic, very aggressive series. We never got into the late game. We barely got into the mid game, and GG gets called. Reynor will take the series 4-2, becoming this month's KungFu Cup champion. GG. GG, well played. Reynor, he does claim the series. Again, a very aggressive, very unorthodox series overall. We never really got into a standard kind of late game. We did see some sky tilts from time to time, but it was a little bit more unusual. We got through it in a different way, referring to 10,000 feet when Reynor kind of misread herO and assumed an all-in was coming, and Reynor was stuck on roaches and herO rushed into carrier production, for example. So herO did excel there. So again, really unorthodox, really back and forth. It was a big gamble. It was a big gamble for herO to go into Glaive at FCO on Ruby Rock. As he mentioned, the build looked like it was going into Blink, and I imagine the thought process there was herO wanted to make it look like the same build. He wanted to make it look like Blink Stalkers to try to catch his opponents with his pants down without any roaches. And it worked. Reynor had no roaches. He had no roaches. But Reynor had a safety baneling nest. He had a safety baneling nest. Reynor, he saw the move out. He morphed in the banelings. There weren't even that many. There was, what, 4 to 7? It was like 4 to 7 banelings in the end. And here he just happened to shade into the banelings. He shaded into the banelings. They connected. That was game. That was game then and there. Once those deaths went down, herO, he did survive a little bit longer. He was able to hold on as best he could, but again, like, there was so much working against him here. Reynor had a massive lead, a massive advantage, and herO couldn't quite recover from there. GG. GG, well played. Again, a very aggressive, very chaotic series. Congratulations to Reynor for becoming our champion, for getting his revenge over herO. And once again, the series did not disappoint. A very aggressive, very back and forth series as well. We never really saw any kind of standard play. I say standard play, as I mentioned before, this style of being very tech heavy and being very defensive that we saw last season is non-existent this season. It's non-existent. It's not viable anymore, just because of the change to the banelings, just because of the maps themselves. I would say the most defensive map is Winter Madness, but even then it's nowhere near as defensive as Tokamak, for example. Tokamak was like the pinnacle of like defensive map, and it allowed for easy sky toss. We don't really have the equivalent here, not in this map pool. So there is no equivalent to Tokamak. We saw that herO went for glaives on Winter Madness as well, which I was not expecting, which was maybe the point, right? herO trying to catch Reynor with his pants down, but yeah, Winter Madness was brutal. GG. GG. And with that, again, congratulations to Reynor. Again, it was a very intense bracket. 5 days, baby. 5 days of StarCraft. Crazy, baby, crazy. Reynor, he does come out as our victor. Shout out to herO for making a series out of it, of course, as well. Did take a couple of maps. I will say that a closer series, and if you missed it, I do highly recommend it. I do recommend checking out, bam, Reynor vs Showtime. like Showtime impressed hard. Like Showtime, he almost won that series. Like it was a really close back and forth. Showtime and Reynor, they went all the way to the ace match in the upper bracket finals. But again, Showtime had a very different approach. Showtime had a very defensive approach, very defensive, and he was actually excelling against Reynor at times. So that was a really impressive series there. I do recommend it. If you want some more ZvP action, do check out the VODs over on YouTube. !socials in the chat. Oh. To get a link to our socials, to get a link to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, all things KranKy Ducklings. Again, we stream on YouTube and we do upload to YouTube on a daily basis. And again, if you missed out on some of the days of KungFu Cup, I do recommend the VODs over on YouTube. Do recommend. GG, well played. Also, a shout out to Cure for making it to top 3, of course. Cure, he had a really strong showing with his TVP earlier, was able to take down herO in Classic, but did fall in the rematch. So again, very clutch, very intense, very back and forth. And shout out to SE Boy. SE Boy, they're the organizers of this event. SE Boy, they're a Chinese casting team. They're a big part of the Chinese community, of course. There's a lot coming, and there's a lot on the horizon for SE Boy, especially with the return of the Chinese server with the partnership with NetEase. So again, there's a lot to come in the future. KungFu Cup should be returning next month for the December edition. So there should be one more edition here of KungFu Cup. We'll be there to cast it. We might cast it live or otherwise via replays. It does depend on the schedule, of course. Our schedule has been very busy and we weren't able to cover this live earlier, but we were at least able to cover it via replays. One way or another, we will be covering KungFu Cup. Whether it's live or via replays, yet to be determined. As we don't have dates yet. We don't have dates yet in regards to the events. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Hope you enjoyed the StarCraft. When it comes to the rest of our schedule, bam, you can see it before you. There we go. So you can see our weekly schedule here. We just wrapped up with our Tuesday broadcast. We were live last night with KungFu Cup, live this morning with KungFu Cup. Our next broadcast should be tomorrow. You can see here tomorrow, Pegasus Cup is going to be our next broadcast. We have the Wardy TV Monday on Thursday. We have the Pondcast on Thursday as well. We have StarCraft Evolution League on Friday, KSL, SDO, and STC. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft on the horizon. This week is a little bit leaner. As you can see, we're still casting every day, but we're casting like once a day. There's like 2 days here where we do have double casts, like Thursday and Saturday, but for the most part, a bit of a leaner week, which I'm more than happy about. Like, it means we get to rest up. And by rest, I mean we get to stream, we get to ladder as well, as we have a little bit more time to ourselves as we get into December. Again, December should be a little bit more like this. December should be calming down a little bit. All the offline events were in November. Remember, we had Stellarfest, we had SC for All, we had RSL Season 3. We had a lot of content, a lot of big events happening in November. Coming into December should be slowing down a little bit. If you're curious about the upcoming big events, that's going to be RSL offline events. The offline events for Revival StarCraft League, that's going to be on the 13th and 14th of December. And that's going to be over in Seoul in South Korea. It's going to be in Korea. That's going to be a 2-day event. So again, 13th and 14th of December. It's going to be the offline qualifier on day 1, and then day 2 is going to be the 4-player like playoff bracket. So we might be casting that. I say we might be. If you know anything about us, you know that we have been given permission to co-stream RSL, and we co-stream Season 2 and Season 3. But I don't know if we have permission to co-stream the offline event. So that's a big maybe. I'll reach out about that. If we can co-stream it, then we'll cover it. If not, then we can sleep. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens with RSL, but that's going to be the big event. There's also murmurings of other events happening, so I cannot say anything yet, but I can say that there are other events to be announced for December. I can say that at least, so look forward to it. Do look forward to it, and I'll give you a bit of a teaser. It won't be like standard format. And look forward to it. I look forward. It's not organized by us, but we'll be playing our parts in our own way. So do look forward to it. Again, there's a lot happening in December outside of the regular open weeklies as well. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thank you for the support. Return of the Chinese server. Yes. The Chinese server has been gone for like 3 years. Has it been 3 years? I think negotiations broke down and Chinese servers were removed from Blizzard Games in 2021, if I remember correctly. Maybe someone can correct me. But yes, Chinese servers have been going for quite some time. Maybe 2022. Maybe it was a little bit more recent. But yeah, negotiations broke down. Apparently there was some internal issues with Blizzard, and then they kind of dropped the ball, from our understanding, from like insider information about that. But recently they did renegotiate, now that Microsoft has kind of taken a stronger role in Blizzard, and a stronger role when it comes to relations as well. They have renegotiated, they have partnered once again with NetEase, so Chinese servers returning. So because of that, there's going to be a big Chinese event happening soon, like a celebration show match series. I believe Scarlet is going to be involved. I believe Oliveira is going to be involved as well, and many others. This isn't like marking the return of Oliveira to competitive play, but he's been invited to the show match to celebrate, you know, the return of the Chinese server. So it's going to be really cool to see Oliveira again. D4 is getting in there. Yeah, there's a lot happening. It's a lot happening. There's also another rumored StarCraft IP game releasing soon as well. I'm not referring to the game that's being published and developed by Nexon. If you remember, Nexon, they acquired the IP for StarCraft to produce their own game. That is true. But there's another game in the works as well, which was recently announced by Soso. By Soso, this was maybe a week ago. So a lot of really cool things on the horizon. Don't expect it to be another RTS, not at all. Just StarCraft IP being used by Blizzard in another way, which is a good thing. StarCraft getting attention once again. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much. With that, we are going to be wrapping up here for the time being. Again, the next broadcast is going to be tomorrow in under 24 hours time. Otherwise, hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time. Un momento as I just set up the time. Where can I read about the Soso announcements? Check out the interview that Zombergub did host. Zombergub, she did host an interview. It was like a 2-hour long interview. Hold on. Soso. Hold on. There we go. Bam. It's in the chat. This was 9 days ago. There we go. It's 9 days ago. Soso. He's a great guy. So I do recommend checking out the interview there. I also do recommend checking out the podcast, which we did discuss all this on, of course. But otherwise, we're going to be heading off for the time being. I'm going to be going live on my personal channel for a short ladder session, cheeky ladder session, before getting some breakfast. I am a little bit hungry, actually. We'll see. I might get something to eat first. But yes, it's going to be live on my personal channel. A short ladder session. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Until then, ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.